Is how the table looks coming into round 22. It's the top three battling it out for the two home ties in the playoffs. Ulster hold the keys to fourth for now, with the Scarlets chasing hard. In terms of Champions Cup rugby, Munster in control, but the Ospreys and Edinburgh still mathematically fighting as well. And at the bottom, an intriguing scenario where Treviso have a 1 point advantage over Zebra to be the Italian representative in Europe's top flight next season. As for our game, well, the Ospreys have picked up 15 points from their last 3 games to resurrect their campaign. And if they can steal into Europe today, it would be one of the great comeback stories of this season. But as for Ulster, well, they've been on a good run of form as well. 1 loss in their last 5, and they've got a good grip on the Ospreys too, winning 4 of their 5 most recent meetings. And a very good afternoon to you. So we have every prize in the league up for grabs this afternoon in the final afternoon of the regular campaign. Hold on tight, it could be quite a roller coaster, and with us to watch it all unfold, it's a very warm welcome to former Scotland captain Rory Lawson, former Wales captain Scott Quinnell as well. And it's difficult to know where to look this afternoon. It's a fantastic set of scenarios that we've got taking place across the league. From a player's point of view, how much fun is it to be involved on a day like this?
Yeah, I think when the sun's finally on your backs, your body's aching after 21 league rounds, your brain's probably a little bit fried, but ultimately you want to finish the season on a high, whether that's with playoffs, whether that's with European qualification, or whether that's just saving some face to be able to win at the end. So everyone will be keen. We've got a carpet of a pitch here at the Liberty. Speaking to a few of the players, they're excited about getting out there. From
a player's point of view, how easy is it just to stay focused on the job at hand and not to wonder about what else is going on elsewhere?
You can't think about that. You know, you've got to get out there, you've got to play your own game. It's up to the coaches, and it's up to the guys around there, the water guys, getting those messages on today. You know, Clermont Auvergne this year, they should have taken the kick and goal. All of a sudden you're in quarter-final of Europe. They can't have that. So that's important today, especially here, you know, Ulster. They know it's in their hands. They come here, they win today, they're more likely that they're in the semi-final. The Scarlets, they'll have another eye down in Munster, of course, and knowing what Ulster are doing here, what do they need to do they need to get the bonus point? And it's just absolutely fantastic. Coaches will have a big job with those calculators this afternoon.
I was going to say exactly that. I mean, you talk about the players being focused on what they've got to do on the pitch. Very important the backroom staff today are looking elsewhere and making sure that they know exactly what the team need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the stats men, the video analysts, the guys behind the scenes have got a more important job today than they'll ever have had before, and it's feeding that information through. I think the fans will be sat at home. I know I've got a Munsterman friend who will be sitting at home looking at that result, looking at all the potential outcomes of the other games, and it's all to play for so many teams, which makes it such an exciting finish to this season.
The fans will know, because there'll be people watching Sky Sports at home, they'll be texting through, they'll be tweeting, they'll be on the phones, they'll know exactly what's going on with all the other games around Europe as we keep everybody updated this afternoon. Yeah. It's just absolutely fantastic.
Better get it right as a result, therefore. In terms of the specifics of today's game, Ospreys first of all, where has their bounce come from in the last 3 weeks, Scotty?
The fact that I think that they were almost out of it. They knew they had to win the 4 games, probably with the 5 points. They've got that. They played the Dragons, a tough one. We had Dan Bigger in the studio the day after. They were a little bit feisty. They were a bit upset that they were in that position, and they've got an opportunity here now. Okay, the Scarlets hope the Ospreys do them a job here today, but equally the Scarlets, they got to do a job for Munster. Yeah. You know, and they put themselves in that position. They just can play. Dan Bigger playing well. They could Rhys Webb playing well. King was outstanding last week. They got a platform to play with, and they'll need every bit of that experience today against a good Ulster side.
And from an Ulster perspective, we really saw them in the groove against Leinster last week. What are the pitfalls for them today, do you think?
You know, I think we saw Ulster playing very well last week. I think Les Kiss mentioned earlier on he didn't think Leinster were quite there. He thought they were a session short, but Ulster need the halfbacks to operate well once again. Ruan PNR, man of the match, but a key man for me, Ian Henderson, in a pack who some people question the physicality of. He is the man defensively and with ball in hand who can give them the front foot to get the halfbacks the ball they need.
Yeah, And from an 8 perspective as well, interested to get your view on Sean Reedy. I mean, Stephen Ferris gave him the big up last week, just in terms of getting Ulster onto the front foot and allowing them to play.
But he's got that pace, you know, and especially the scrum. The scrum, when it goes well, you can get over the gain line, you can get he carried well. He sort of, it's a bit shot there, lower to the ground, the way he gets through, drive through, leg drive through, through contact. I thought he was absolutely superb, but you're quite right as well. Henry played well. Henderson has just been absolutely brilliant. For me, you know, he's the type of guy, a very quiet man, but people look to him to create that inspiration for that Ulster pack.
And on the flip side, in the Ospreys back row, I mean, a lot of eyes on Sam Underhill at the moment, potentially an England Saxons tourist, potentially a full tourist with England as well, depending on what Eddie Jones sees fit to do. How far has he come, and how big an influence do you think he could have today?
Well, I don't think many people knew much about Sam Underhill at the start of this season, so what a breakthrough season. 19 years old, he's had a big impact at the Ospreys, and again it's that balance of the back row this week. Lydic coming in at 6, he'll do a lot of the hard yards. King, as Scotty touched on, outstanding last week, but Underhill, what a player he is. He's dynamic, he's a physical specimen, and he's someone who I bet the Welsh boys wish they had looking into their national side.
You're all right for back rowers at the moment.
We're okay for back rowers, you know. But I tell you what, he's a special talent. You know, he's such a big man. He's only 19. He's grown. You can't believe when you look at him, the stature of him. You know, we were lucky enough a couple of weeks ago. We were talking to Richard Hill, who's one of his mentors. You know, he is just everywhere around the park. And if he does get that England Saxon or the England call-up, it'd be more than well deserved.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. For now, gentlemen, it's going off across the league this afternoon. Just a reminder, we will keep you across everything that is happening. All the prizes up for grabs, and we've got a particularly keen eye on events in Galway and Limerick, but our main focus is here at the Liberty Stadium in Swansea, and match commentary here this afternoon comes from Ian Evans, Stuart Barnes and Miles Harrison.
Thanks, Alex. So a season that has been evenly and hotly contested since day one culminates in round 22 with something riding on every game, as it always looked like it would. And here this double-edged sword as Ulster go for top 4, and the Ospreys, taught a lesson in Europe this season by Exeter right at the end. Well, they're not giving up on Europe next season until the final whistle goes. Here's the Ospreys side. A couple of changes in the pack from the win against the Blues at the National Stadium a week ago. Rory Thornton replaces the injured Adam Beard, and Sam Underhill, this exciting prospect, he starts. James King moves to 8 and Dan Lydiot to 6. Behind the scrum, Josh Matavesi starts at centre. Eli Walker is recalled on the wing. Hanno Dirksen having damaged knee ligaments right at the end in Cardiff. Rhys Webb captains the side from scrum half. Ulster looking for a playoff game for a 4th season in a row, and just the one change to the team that won so convincingly in the end a week ago. Rory Best is the captain, the pack, the department that is unchanged. The change is on the wing, where Craig Gilroy, who was ill last week, is okay again, and he replaces Rory Scholes. Pienaar and Jackson versus Webb and Bigger. It's high class, and it's certainly a confrontation to savour, and one that will go a long way to deciding the result. The Ospreys have their player of the season, Sam Davis, in reserve, and Ulster no changes here either, and no incentive to change after that big win over Leinster. Well, Ulster have their top 4 hopes in their own hands. There'll be nothing the Scarlets can do if they win this with a bonus point, but that at the Liberty Stadium is easier said than done. Yet they don't want to be relying on Munster. Here comes Rory Best to lead his side out, and Les Kiss, the man in charge of Ulster, is with Ian Evans.
Well, Les, terrific performance last week against Leinster. He's bringing you consistency to the ball at the right time of the season. What do you have to do to continue with that level of performance?
Yeah, well, it's an opportunity for us to grow. It's a massive match, we know that, but if we can keep Webb at bay and Bigger and that back row less effective than they can be, then we're in with a chance.
Looking at what's going to happen today, so what are the key areas for you? What do you have to do really well apart from that? Or what aspects do you have to work on?
Well, I do think they, despite the fact they have to score 4 tries to give themselves a chance, I do think they will use their aerial skills very well. We've got to be good under the ball, make sure we resource that well. And I think the team that is willing to play a bit of footy and chest the edges and work off the edges and split the field and play some footy, they'll get some rewards today because it's a great pitch.
All the best today.
Thank you very much.
The Ospreys have been going for it, and they still have to go for it. They've given themselves a shot, and for one day in the year, they are Scarlets fans as well. A round 6 blow-up in the Champions Cup this season, but before they brought an awful lot to the competition before that day in Exeter, and how they'd love to do so again next season. Here they come to a big home roar. And the Ospreys, Kevin Morgan is with the iron.
Well, Kevin, disappointing first half of the season means destiny's no longer in your hands. You're reliant on your new friends across the Leather Bridge. Yeah. Has well been difficult to get that mindset for the team this week?
Oh, look, for us it's just about controlling this game really. We can't really think about what's going to happen in other games and other people doing us favours. We just got to control our 80 minutes. A victory is obviously the first thing we need, so trying to get a victory, hopefully getting a bonus point if we play well enough, but you know, we just got to concentrate on that and nothing else.
Two very similar styles, well-matched teams. What do you have to do well to be successful today?
As always, you know, being strong up front and controlling a bit of ball. And field position is going to be hugely important today. They're a strong physical side, Ulster, so we need to make sure we have enough ball and keep all away from them.
Thanks, Kevin. All the best today.
Thank you.
Man in the middle today is Marius Maitreya, but also mention of our man in the truck. Derek Bevan hangs up his remote control today after serving as television match official with such distinction following years of service to the game as a world-class referee too. Derek, enjoy your retirement. As we all look to enjoy this afternoon's fast-paced action, we will keep you across events elsewhere with cameras and updates from the other venues. You'll be right in the picture.
Wait.
And here at the Liberty Stadium, the Ospreys still going for Europe. Ulster for the top 4.
Wait.
Rhys Webb. Matavesi back in the side. Having been on the bench last week at the Principality Stadium, and Ulster doing good work on the floor. And it's Pienaar. Nice roll pass by Callum Black there. Pienaar again, man of the match last week. Paddy Jackson alongside played beautifully as well. There's Ian Henderson. Great to see him back in the swing of things. A key part of the season as well for Ulster. Rory Best. Ricky Lutton has a drive. And this is a great chance for Ulster to settle into their game early on. But it goes from Jackson. A bit too much distance on that. Rhys Webb calls for the mark. Still alive is Jackson again to Craig Gilroy, suffering from a virus. Had to pull out on the day of the game last weekend. Recovered this week though. Henderson again. Pienaar. Jackson. Best got it from Payne. Marshall was involved. Jackson once more. Ospreys aggressive in their defence that time. Hasn't touched the ball a lot early on. So too McCluskey.
No hands, Black! Wait.
First 2 minutes, all Ulsters. Pete Brown back to Pienaar. Here's Rory Best. Paddy Jackson, might be a little bit of width here for Payne, Jared Payne, and a vital hand on it. Ben John, who was going back, I think, who got a hand in.
First instance there of Paddy Jackson and that lovely passing game of his. John saves the day, and Ospreys will kick this one to touch and just relieve the pressure. It's going to be a heck of a battle at half-back today. Last week, Paddy Jackson saw off the favourite to be the Lions, Test scrum half in New Zealand next season. Johnny Sexton, to date, he's up against another of the leading contenders in Dan Biggar. Playing inside Biggar, of course, is Rhys Webb, who has made a magnificent recovery from his injury that damaged Wales so much during the World Cup. He's the favourite to be the Lions scrum half, and against him, Ruan Pienaar, brilliant rugby brain and a scrum half who thrives on the firm grounds of this time of year. What a wonderful battle it is between those four today.
2 tries at the end last week for Rhys Webb. He's right back to fitness and form. That form almost returned straight away on his return, which is great credit to him. Of course, had the disappointment of missing out on the Rugby World Cup. Big Ben John, all 6'5" of him. And there's Nicky Smith.
Leave it.
Playing very flat on the gain line, the Ospreys. Sometimes they're a bit deeper, bigger, flat to start.
Natavesi just opened up a little bit in front of him there. Watkin was supporting, but it goes forward. And down goes Trimble.
Rock. It's inside.
Pienaar.
Advantage over.
Ben John gone over that far side to cover. It's bigger, back to John. Eli Walker. Just wasn't selected in the 23 last week, so he's got a little bit of a point to prove at the end of the season. He's such a talent. Hit with an extravagant pass, then Underhill coming through. Bigger's going with him. Bigger. Oh, it was inside. The ball should have gone. Ulster had the cover to the right. Let's bring in Jan, who's made his way from the touchline.
So many similarities in these two sides. Both rely on gun half-backs. You've got Bigger and Webb on one side. You've got Paddy Jackson and Ruan Pienaar. They enjoy playing with pace. They play with purpose. They know exactly what they're trying to do. Both sides want to attack that outside channel. But in order to do so, they need to pull in defenders and shorten up defensive line and then attack on the outside. Matavesi this time looks for the offload. The Ospreys looking to keep that ball in hand, leak the ball off the floor. You know how effective Ulster are at the breakdown.
It's awkward for Watkin, and he can't take it cleanly. He should have just signed his first pro contract, had a good season, but nothing he could do there.
Webb's pass really does help Bigger. It gets him so much flatter. He's got a high-quality pass, and it brings Bigger flatter. But what's the delay now, though, from Bigger? Little check, super break from Underhill, but that has to go inside. And to be fair, Bigger, I think, should have been going right to left inside. He didn't offer himself, Jan, as a great support line there.
No, that's where the communication is key. The ball carrier can't always see the people around him. The call has to be made left or right. But also, you talked about down Bigger, a second receiver there. Dimitri Ahup, the tight head proper's first receiver. Good set of hands on him as well.
Up, please.
Yes, the Moldovan there produced a beautiful pass. Now he goes back to his day job.
Okay, we agree with keeping the stability, okay? Don't lean.
We talk about Webb's service. Not only the flatness, but the width of it. Just puts the receiver on the outside shoulder of the first defender, and that allows you to puncture then that line. And the opportunity was on the inside too. Rhys Webb was there. Dan Evans was also there. That was into the sticks.
To be fair, Ulster were stretched either way, weren't they? But on the inside, they were stretched to the limit.
It's great to see Ospreys punching flat, though. That's what tested Ulster's defence. Leinster didn't get that way at all.
Well, Dimitri Ahup, along with Scott Baldwin and Nicky Smith and the rest of those forwards, have produced a penalty at the scrum, and the Ospreys are going to kick for the corner. They want not just the win today, but that bonus point as well. They went for it against the Cardiff Blues right from the off last week, and they're going for it again.
Well, it's a big thing here, this scrum is going to be, because it was the weakest part of Ulster's game against Leinster, and it's been a weak part of Ospreys all season. But boy, that's a statement. Kevin Morgan said we'll get the win and see where we go. It looks to me, Jan, they're going for the 4 tries and then getting the win.
Statement of intent, no doubt.
Let's see what happens then. Having decided to go for the corner, can't get the drive on. Here's Webb to John. And it's Ahup again. Such a popular figure here he has become. Webb once more finds Bigger. Takes them on physically. He couldn't get the pass away. Webb quickly in. He's Watkin. and Dan Lydiard. Back at blindside today. James King wearing number 8, having been at 7 last week. In many ways, there were 3 sixes in the Ospreys back row in Cardiff. There's a genuine 7 in Underhill. And it's a turnover ball for Ulster, who defended really well there. Henderson bringing the ball away, and Pienaar and Gilroy. He's got Jackson outside, and Gilroy is fell, but it's back with Pienaar. And here's a chance for McCluskey. Oh, and Jarrett Payne was arriving there.
Stay back.
And it was a case of just couldn't get the pass in. Reedy acted as the scrum half, and there's fly half Jackson. And the pace keeps on coming. Here's Eli Walker, and that's a lovely line from Josh Matavesi. Tries to step, gets support, comes from Lydiard. Lydiard carrying the ball well. King is with him.
No hands, White.
Back to Webb. So much attacking in this game. Bernardo does well, finds Matavesi, who got it all going with that lovely line.
Rock, away, 15.
It's a tremendously positive start to this game. Thornton has it. Webb. Evans up from fullback.
There's not a lot of time for defenders in the first 10 minutes, which is going to be good for this game as a spectacle.
Bigger to Matavesi. The pitch, as ever here, perfect. Conditions just right. It's pleasantly warm, and Baldwin takes it on without being stiflingly hot. Although if this pace continues, regardless of the weather, these players are going to feel it. It's another penalty, and Webb wants to take quickly now. Ulster hadn't retreated 10. Advantage being played. Webb with a chip over the top. It's another penalty, but no card.
When you look at these two sides, they are so dangerous on turnovers or kick returns. Puts a premium on accuracy and ball retention. You saw the play there when Underhill got turned over, the willingness of Ulster to counter-attack, and likewise when the kick went deep, Eli Walker brought the ball back with conviction, with purpose. Two sides really hard to do on attack from deep.
The potential of the one open side, Underhill, great power, but he's quite upright. The experience of the other one, Chris Henry, gets in, makes the steal, Henderson away, and you can see there Pienaar and company, they want to go where there is space. Very exciting stuff, great counter-attacking from both teams. And Ospreys, it's worth noting, haven't gone for the corner this time. They've gone for the 5-metre scrum from the penalty. Rhys Webb went so quickly, I don't think there was anywhere Ruben Pienaar could go. He bought the penalty. Maitreya had no other option than to give it.
And a solid scrum, and King goes off the back of it. He scored a blasting try in Cardiff, where he really powered over. And this time it's Bigger, who simply has to just walk it over. Set up by the drive off the back of the scrum, and the Ospreys have a wonderful start. They are, of course, Scarlets fans as well today, but they're doing their bit here.
Solid scrum allowed James King to launch himself off. Man of the match and Judgment Day last week against the Blues. The coach's player of the season here at the Ospreys. An ability to play all across that back line. Gets across, makes good yardage, quick ball, just allows Webb to find with that sort of understanding with the outside half to pick the shallow line straight underneath the posts.
Yeah, Rory Thornton ran a very good line there, the second row, just to divert any Ulster cover. But that was symptomatic of this first 10 minutes. Bigger, too often for Wales, he stands too deep and he lets the defence come to him. He's coming onto the ball, and this try you can see, he's so flat there. He's always going to score that way, but this is exactly how Bigger has started the game with Webb. Very aggressively, very positively.
You win the collisions, it allows you to attack that line. They're winning the collisions, it's calling, enticing the outside half onto the ball.
Conversely, if your outside half does play too deep, what it does, it brings the defence onto you on the gain line. They take the momentum there, you're struggling on that battle.
Jackson restarts, taken by the Ospreys, and that man James King is playing in his 100th Pro 12 game. He said he played 7 last week. He does play really anywhere in the back 5. Tremendously versatile and tremendously strong. Done it to Cardiff and he's done it to Ulster in the space of a week. So food for thought for Ulster and Rory Best and his team, and there is the captain. Gilroy, his first receiver. Henry showed his experience when his strength too, when he stripped Underhill. There's Henderson, Pienaar, Jackson. Van der Merwe goes short. Best again to Jackson. Here's Andrew Trimble coming off that wing. Throws the ball inside, but the Ospreys with Rhys Webb in the way. And now it's Biggar kicking in behind Ulster. Gilroy loves moments like these, and he's seen a lot of space here. And the ball goes out. So we've had a try here. Nothing on the scoreboard as yet at a sold-out sports ground. Winner gets a home playoff between those two. Scoreless still between Edinburgh and the Cardiff Blues. Leinster have their first try against Treviso. Scarlets in front against Munster with the three-pointer. And Zebre lead against the Dragons. Zebre 1 point behind Treviso. Treviso having just last week got themselves in front on the table, but as it stands, Zebre in front of them now. But let's concentrate on the top four. If Scarlets were to go on to win that and Ulster were to lose this one, then there'll be a place swap there, and it'll be Glasgow Scarlets, Leinster versus Connacht as the semi-finals. Ospreys eyeing up Munster, but you can see the importance of the bonus point score there for the Ospreys. Even though they're winning at the moment in this game, it wouldn't be enough. They need the 4 tries. Ulster put him.
Ulster line out, one of their great strengths. Their scrum hasn't been so good this season, but they've got the best line-out in this league. Franco van der Merwe doesn't win all the line-outs, but he calls them, and when they do throw it to him, he wins them. They're a very hard team to win ball off, and they've got a great habit of spoiling you. Ospreys, in contrast, Ian, not quite as strong. They're not a bad line-out, but it's an area where the visitors would expect it to establish some dominance.
Well, any team showing about in Wyn Jones is bound to have his line-out weakened, but I don't think the Ospreys will kick the touch that often today, because they do fear the ability of Ulster to generate really good attacking play in the back of a really effective line-out.
Must say, again, we talked about how flat Biggar is. Just look at Jackson there, Paddy Jackson, all so close. He's a metre or two off the number 8's feet, very flat.
That's Gilroy in behind Pienaar, and in comes Luke Marshall. And then Jared Payne. And Henderson as Ulster try and set something up and then use the big driving forwards to take it on Pienaar. Oh, that's nice, Jared Payne. And there is Paddy Jackson on the inside. It's a tale of the fly halves at the moment. Biggar for the Ospreys, and Jackson coming back for Ulster. And a chance for him to equalise as well.
Well, it's coming off the scrums. First phase ball that's really good, and both attacking sets of back are so flat there. Ulster just poured over the gain line, and at no stage after this bust here in the inside by Marshall do Ospreys ever find an opportunity to slow it down. Another big line there, Jan. It comes back quickly the third time. Speed is the essence, and when you're getting quick ball, it gives an attacking team great opportunities.
When you look at a team sort of USP, and you look at what the differentiates them from other teams, I look at Ulster, angles of running. They have an abundance and ability in that back line to pick angles, to find those rich seams of possibilities. You got Gilroy, you got Trimble, Payne, all picking these really acute angles. It creates mayhem in defensive lines, particularly when they have quality possession from the first phase.
So Jackson does equalise at 7 points apiece. He scored 18 points last week in a virtuoso display at fly half. His try took him over the 500 points mark in his Pro 12 history. And it was a simple finish like Biggar's beforehand.
Payne plays really well at full-back for Ulster. He sees the vision. That was an easy inside ball for him, but it sums up the way he plays. He runs that game from the back. He's a very intelligent player.
Yeah, well, Joe Schmidt might well want him at playing at centre for Ireland because the needs a must. Les Kiss definitely wants him at 15 for Ulster.
Right, we have a try at Thomond Park. First one of the afternoon, and it has come for Munster. And they lead against the Scarlets by 7 points to 3. Was converted, it's Francis Saili. And Munster, length of the field score lead against the Ospreys by 7 points, against the Scarlets by 7 points to 3, although they're virtually one team today. Ospreys and the Scarlets. Mutual needs, and there you can see what that means for the table. Munster back in the position where they started the day, and Ulster back into the position where they started the day, in fourth.
Yeah, Ulster, sort of Ospreys and Scarlets have never been closer. At Lucker Bridge is a short span these days. Today it's all about supporting each other towards a common goal.
The Ospreys.
From white backwards, and then yes, black line out from white.
Oh no! Wait, was it quick?
Yeah.
I think Ulster thought there was a knock on there, and I've got to say I thought there was a knock on too from Ben John, setting that ball forward. Or did it go forward off the Ulsterman first onto Ben John? But if a line-out's given, it's a tough call there on Ulster.
Nathan, okay. Okay, thank you.
Close to another knock on there, but Ulster play on, and here's Pienaar.
Great kick.
Good catch by Ben John as well. Swap wings this week. Because it should be good in the air. It's 6'5". Eli Walker, who's got across the ground.
Both sides looking to get that 13 channel.
Thornton.
Sorry, Mark. Both teams also clearly intent on attack. They're thinking about 4 tries. They're thinking about winning. The mindset is so positive. It's influencing. It's dominating this game.
Okay, more there.
And Bigger again. No thought of going for the post.
And see how quickly everything's happening as well. I mean, we're not getting these great big long conferences. Either Webb's tapping and going, Bigger gets the ball and bang, it's into the corner. It's a fast tempo on this game. Tandy will enjoy that at the moment.
Well, I think it suits both teams. It's playing to each other's strengths.
Inside 5. Open. White, 1.
Talked about the battle at half-back between these two.
It's okay.
How high class that is. Also at hooker, Baldwin against Best. That's Wales against Ireland, and Baldwin accurate again. And here's Bigger to Matavesi. Baldwin once more. Ulster try and hold him up, and they steal the ball too. Another turnover inside that Ulster 22, and Trimble clears.
Feeling Reedy was involved there. Henderson. Costly for the Ospreys, played really well in the first quarter, but it's the second time that they've carried in. Henderson in a great position, he's there stripping, and then I think that Reedy comes through. Yeah, number 8 there. Sean Reedy takes it away. Great combination. The hold from the number 6, the number 8 comes in with a muscle.
Down from Underhill at the line out. There's Watkin to Bigger. That came off an Ulster arm or hand, and it was not forward.
Aggressive rush defence there from Ulster, preventing that wraparound. Bigger looking to get the ball a second time, 2-touch. It's very much what Johnny Sexton loves doing. At that time, the pressure was coming by Luke Marshall, maintaining his line speed.
Right, we have our first score in Galway, and it's for the home side, and it's Bundyaki. And you can see the kick was an easy one, and they are going wild there. And the battle between the two teams that have qualified, but it's all about who will play at home, and if Connacht win that game, they will be at home. The champions will have to travel, as it stands, to Leinster who lead against Treviso. Ulster in 4th place. Matavesi to Walker. Underhill. He was nicely out the side, but maybe asked a little bit too much.
A little bit inexperienced there. He's looking very strong, Sam Underhill, carrying. He's a real tank. There's certainly something of a young David Pocock about him, but the inexperience came with that one-handed offload. There wasn't really any sympathy there. This is a great surface to play rugby on, but you have to give your man more of a chance than this. That's quite fiery.
Okay, make sure we're working on this, please.
Yeah, but also you have to be prepared because of the type of game the Ospreys and Ulster want to play. Keep that momentum going. Keep that ball alive. The offloads are going to come today. You've got to be ready for them.
The other thing about that offload, there was no Osprey player within about 3 metres. You need them closer. You need a little bit more of a pop than a sling,
or you're going to get turned over.
Scrum on the turn, but Pienaar able to release the backs, and one of them is Andrew Trimble off his wing. Pienaar again to Paddy Jackson. Try score. Okay, nice service on to Gilroy. Jackson wanted the ball inside. It sits up for Eli Walker. He's got a lot of work to do. And again, Ulster try and hold up the ball carrier.
There's the ball. It's your
Reece Webb calls in the forwards to do exactly this. James King. Underhill. He got the bonus point score last week. Webb. Trimble. Pienaar. Luke Marshall goes crossfield. Has he judged it well? Yes, he has, and we'll go to get a view from the Ospreys camp. Coach Griff Rees is on standby to talk to Rory Lawson. Rory.
Griff, obviously a really fast-paced start, turning down 3 penalties and shots at goal. Are you happy with the start, or is there a danger of playing too much?
Yeah, there is, especially when you're going into areas where Ulster are defensively strong and around some of the choke and where they're competing heavily. But it's also just the beauty of trying to draw them into certain areas to create some space elsewhere. But the balance has got to be better. We've been a bit desperate perhaps the last 5.
And with it being frenetic, fast-paced, how does your team take control in the second quarter?
It's about also doing the basics of the game well. We've had a couple of key set pieces here. Obviously we fumbled one, they scored off the resulting scrum. So you've got to do this area, the foundation of the game, pretty well. Now we can come alive.
And finally, there are obviously a number of other games with various permutations going on elsewhere. How aware are you of those going on and the current results, and how does that dictate the way you're playing?
It doesn't change anything for us first half. We'll perhaps revisit half time, and certainly on the 60 minutes we'll see where we are then. But it's about this game, the flow and the control of this first and foremost.
You're not going to die wondering, are you? Enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Cheers.
Thanks, Rory. Never threatened the top 4 really this season, the Ospreys, have they? But it's all about Europe now, and they certainly did threaten in that competition, the Champions Cup, was so nearly qualified, desperate to be part of it next year.
I just think Griff Rees there was just talking about getting choked twice in attacking 22. Even as he's saying it, what's happening in Ospreys' own 22, Ulster have got on top of them there. The Ulster pack are being very good around the breakdown at the moment, and that is a problem for the Ospreys.
Edinburgh getting 12-0 up, but they don't possess with a loss of Nick Williams. Possess the big physical specimen, so they've adapt accordingly. Having Chris Henry and Sean Reedy means they're very mobile around the field, and you've got an all-action, all-court play in Henderson as well. But I mean, looking at the way the half-backs are playing, and, your Pienaar and Jackson, I think it's starting to blossom as a partnership. It's been up until now a subservient role, I think, for Jackson at 10, where Pienaar took all the decisions, made all the key aspects. Now all of a sudden they're building into a genuine partnership with the maturity of Jackson at 10.
Just fleshing out one of those scores that went through there. Leinster already have 2 tries, so halfway to the bonus point. Their bid for a home semi-final. Tries the order of the day here, certainly for the Ospreys. That's Trimble. This is Pienaar. Luke Marshall.
No hands back.
Rory Best. Oh, nice sidestep from Best. He could see the try line and he could get to it, the captain. Ulster get their second score. They would be wanting to bring in the form of last week into this game. Well, that wasn't the case early on. The Ospreys making a strong start, but now Ulster coming back hard themselves.
That's pretty long range for Rory Best. I love the way there as well. Look at him, palm down, saying, hey, keep cool, there's a long way to go. Trimble is being used as a bullock on that gain line to great effect, but Best, you can see him just coming through the post there. He's just waiting very deep. He comes on there. The tackle first of all from Matavesi. A little bit of a step, and James King is not going to enjoy that moment, because for Rory Best that constitutes a pretty long-range score, iron.
Well, he stepped as he caught that ball as well. It makes it very difficult for defenders.
A hint of a step, shall we call it.
Nice easy one again for Jackson. Close to the post, makes it 14-7. Good carry from Andrew Trimble right at the start of this attack.
Yeah, I do like the way Ulster use their wings, both Gilroy and Trimble. They look for those fissures in defensive line. They attack soft shoulders and they put defenders on their heels very easily, and that creates the quick ball. And after that, it really is a struggle for defensive units.
There is one of those wingers, Craig Gilroy, on the restart.
Ospreys are going to have to concentrate on slowing Ulster down a little bit. It's a worry for them. Both tries have been quite easy.
Bigger in the air. And there was a collision between him and Stuart McCluskey, and the referee's decided that's a penalty, but penalty is sufficient. And good reaction from Dan Bigger as well to the man on the ground. That always helps the situation.
You know, I was picking up on what Griff Rhys had to say about being, you want that tempo, you can't afford to be frantic. Because of both these sides' ability to attack and capitalise on errors, you have to be accurate. And that's where the Ospreys sometimes, for the last 10 minutes or so, have lost that accuracy in the game.
In contrast, Ulster, when they get in that dangerous position, look very sharp, really sharp.
How many times have we seen players react in a very different way to Dan Bigger did that? Okay, used McCluskey as a nice mattress to fall on, but it was the right thing to do, because it was just a mistimed challenge from the Ulsterman.
Tackle, release!
Here's Webb, too Bigger. Hip enjoys a rumble.
Let it come! It's to the middle,
Henry was trying to get in there again initially, and it caused the disruption. Lutton down on the floor. Doing well on the turnover stat inside their own 22.
The ball is there,
Ulster.
don't push the ball into him.
At the moment, Ospreys are breaking down at the breakdown in their own 22 and in the attack in 22. Ulster are getting some very easy outs here. Brilliant play from their pack.
You look at their performance last week against the Blues. In the first half, they were struggling at the break and got turned over far too often, and that allowed the Blues to build some momentum. They changed their game plan then. They started playing far more off 9, which allowed them to dominate the ball, and that's what the Ospreys do. They need to spend longer on the ball. They're getting turned over far too often.
So Pete Brown, the initial man there, does go off his feet, but then the ball was won.
Won there by Thornton. Adam Beard, by the way, went off last week with what was described in the week as a crush injury to the leg, but he's okay, and we're told he's going to be okay for the World Under-20s as well. In fact, the decision on him was made as late in the week as Thursday on his fitness for this game. Looked a nasty one on the day. There's Bigger to the corner again, and we have another try at Thomond Park, and it's another score for Munster. It's Rory Scannell, and Munster lead against the Scarlets by 14 points to 6, and we look at the table to see exactly what that means, and that is Munster cementing their place as a Champions Cup side next season. Scarlets in 5th place, and Leinster moving into second spot. I'm being told they've got a 3rd try in that game now.
Well, it has to be said at the moment, half an hour gone, the hue of this round 22 is all green. Connacht in front, Munster, couple of tries and going well. Ulster, 2 tries already and going well, and Leinster almost at home. At the moment, it is a spectacular round for Ireland, 22.
Yeah, the Ospreys don't have much help from the new best friends and Parker Scarlets.
That's the problem for the Ospreys. It's out of their hands. It's in Ulster's.
Yeah, but the ball
Let's check on those scores again, just confirming that Connacht lead by 7-0 against Glasgow. That Bundyaki try. Told the rain is pouring down in Galway as well. Edinburgh 12-5 against the Cardiff Blues, an outside chance for Edinburgh to make Europe. Bonus point win required and lots of other things to go their own way, but they will keep fighting. Leinster driving seat against Treviso, 17-0. We've seen what's been happening at Thomond Park. Munster driving seat as well against the Scarlets, 14-6, and a good day so far for Zebre. They will be representing Italy as it stands in the Champions Cup next season.
Great town it is, and I love it, but if you drop Galway in the middle of the Sahara Desert, it would rain in that town. How can it be raining?
It's a microclimate.
Small end.
Penalty to the Ospreys. What will they do here? Keep up with their plan of going for either corner or scrum. Yeah, call for the scrum again.
Makes eminent sense. Scrum has got Ulster under pressure. It really does look like the major Achilles heel of this Ulster team, both last week and this week. We saw last time King was able to bust over the gain line and Biggest scored with great deal of ease. It seems like the right call here. Webb so quick, bigger play in flat. It's going to be tough for Ulster defensively.
Ulster are to get into the playoffs. They'd like Herbst back as soon as they possibly can, and he is training, and he might well be back in 2 weeks' time.
Yeah, it's not too far away, Van Herbst, but toe ligament injury. That's a pretty good Ulster scrum, and Ospreys will have to work hard here. It's Eli Walker. They do have an advantage for the knock-on, and as they were going to be turned over again, referee calls them back for that knock-on. Got to sort out this breakdown issue, especially when they're on the attack, the Ospreys.
Got to sort out the concentration on this scrum as well. Nicky Smith, a loose head of real potential, but just got to stay focused there. So nice stable scrum, and then you could just see that Ulster get a snap on. Real pressure on again. And Henderson in very quickly. The Ulster back row, but influential.
The Ospreys will be frustrated in those first 33 minutes or so of the game. They play in Ulster's 22. They haven't quite had the accuracy in set piece and at the breakdown, as you mentioned a couple of times, Stu. And it will frustrate them because they've had the possession, they've had the field position. They just haven't been able to max out on it.
Yeah, possession and territory-wise, you look at it, and you know, Ospreys are in a position to win, and they've been getting some quick ball as well. It's not the sort of slow ball you can't use, and that's why at the moment they're stuck on 8th place in that table. With the ball, they could rise.
Yeah, they have been winning and winning well in recent times, but maybe, just maybe, they've left themselves too much to do, the Ospreys. But still time for things to change this afternoon, both here and elsewhere.
It's not all bad news for the home team here. Scarlets 8 points down. Sorry, Scarlets need to come back into it, but they do look dangerous, and they've got one fairly early try, another one before half-time. They're in a position to win this game and push on for 5 points, but they have to start making these territorial advantage tell.
Word about not to be pre-engaged. We both straight pre-engage, okay? Come on, let's go. We've been just fine so far, okay? So don't spoil down.
Ulster had slipped to 5th, but last 2 rounds they've been in the top 4, timing it just right.
You counting or playing?
Amazing, they didn't win back-to-back games in the Pro 12 until 26th of December this season. So inconsistent, but they're coming good at the right time, aren't they?
And the first 8 games of the season were win-loss, 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 win-loss. Now, it's another penalty at the scrum. Referee's not given time to think about it, and further sanction because the Ospreys are going wide, but Evans was always struggling to hold his feet there, but swings back inside the fullback. Matavesi arrives, but leaves it to Webb. Here comes Underhill. Oh, that's a good carry.
That was a sublime pass.
Webb has a go. He had John outside, but he was covered. Smith, bigger. Matavesi, got to go wide here. Well, maybe not, because the problems for Ulster out wide took the defenders' eyes away, and Matavesi used that to make use of the gap that opened up.
Yeah, quick ball again, and as you said, Jan, during that phase, the play from Webb there was absolutely beautiful. Underhill is being used in a very different way to Tipper it today. Webb trying to keep the momentum up. There's a sloppy pass here to Dan Evans, but Webb just resurrects this with this ball. Underhill picking those lines time after time, and it's quick ball. This time Ulster can't slow it, and when they can't slow it, it's pretty quick ball. And Matavesi, half a show of a dummy. Best is there. It's a big reach for the line, and he just gets there.
He was looking, wasn't he? He knew there were so many options out wide, but then so too did Rory Best.
A couple of times that Ulster guilty of overreaching, over-chasing, and that allows an opportunity, but it's a delay in the pass. Just pass a little pop on the inside, or just hold on to the ball.
Bigger, levels again. It's 14 all, 2 tries each.
Both teams halfway to the all-important bonus point. It's just a matter of which one can come away with a win.
Both teams had very strong second halves last week. Ospreys against the Cardiff Blues and Ulster against Leinster. Matavesi had to make that.
Was that Callum Black and Rory Best?
Well, when you're attacking 2/3 of your front row, you expect to score, to be honest.
The dream.
Manna from heaven. Come to daddy.
With 3 of your own teammates screaming on the outside, give it to me.
Thank you. Guys back.
Dan Evans.
Touched.
He's scored 6 tries this season again from fullback. Ulster fullback Jared Payne. Got 4 in the last 2. Jackson, Henry. Pienaar. Jackson again, that's flattened. It's Gilroy looking for his spin. Pienaar, Jackson, Luke Marshall.
Those angles again, Miles.
Gilroy to Lutton. McCluskey. One of the try scorers in the September meeting between these two right at the start of the season. Ulster won convincingly, a lot tighter today. Henderson. Had a strong game, Henderson. Mentioned a lot. But nothing coming back from there. Gilroy was holding on.
You see the benefit there of the Lydiate chop tackle. What Ulster are doing is going high to try and turn the ball over. What Lydiate does is go low so that the man carrying the ball loses control, and you can't get that offload away. He does it brilliantly. He is the master of that chop tackle, Ian, and he just scythed down the Ulster defence there. That was brilliant.
What's important then, it's in tandem though, it's tackler plus 1. So first of all the tackle's low, Nicky Smith in really quickly. You have to do it as a 2. You can't do it as a 1, you need to do it as a 2.
You've seen that in red before, haven't you, with the likes of Sam Warburton being the second man in and getting his turnovers up while Lydiate's making that tackle. Bang.
There's the table at the moment. Of course, Alex will be having a more detailed look at this at half-time as we collate all the half-time scores from around all various points of the compass. But Connacht, that's the headline at the moment. They could be getting themselves a home semi-final after such a strong season, and well, what an occasion that will be, almost regardless of who they play. But at the moment it stands to be Ulster. Connacht against Ulster, and Ulster are the only side to have won at the sports ground this season in all tournaments.
In atrocious conditions. Not a high-scoring game. 10-3, I think it is.
Mind you, Leinster, Glasgow, what a semi-final that will be. Leinster at home and Glasgow the champions. But look, so much can change in the second half, and we'll keep you right up to date with all those changes.
Well, Miles, if Leinster score one more try, they are going to go top of the pile at the moment, and Connacht going to have to win with 4 tries, and then you're talking about Leinster versus Glasgow, as we are, Leinster versus Ulster. What a game that is. Right now, if you look at that table, I still think Leinster are the favourites to finish number 1.
Well, look at the match stats. 10 penalties conceded by Ulster. That would be a concern, because you concede in territory.
How about that from the Ospreys? No penalties conceded. Great discipline.
It's almost to the final play of this first half. A very entertaining half it's been as well. It's flown by. I know we're keeping up to date with what's happening elsewhere and seeing tries being scored all over the place, but it has gone ever so quickly. And that's credit to the players who've played at this amazing pace. And Trimble might get this one bouncing back to him. He does. Andrew Trimble needs to show the pace now on the angle to send Ulster in at half-time in front. Wow. Well, he needed the bounce, but players like Trimble deserve the luck.
Gonna say he earned that luck, all right. He's been outstanding all game. He's been outstanding for the last few weeks. The chip through was not one of Rhys Webb's better ones, but he gets that ball on his own 22, and this is a brilliant piece of play. There's not enough pressure on him. Walker can't do anything, goes straight through the middle. This is where it gets very lucky, but thereafter, yeah, and his balance and pace really good.
There's always an area the Ospreys had to be concerned about, the ability of Ulster to counter-attack with some venom from deep. He looked, he saw the space. It wasn't just a hopeful kick. He identified where the space was. He put it exactly where he wanted. Yes, a little bit fortunate with the bounce, but he knew exactly where that ball needed to go.
That's why Andrew Trimble has now scored 44 tries in this competition over the years.
And both wings have also really been impressive. You got Trimble carrying the ball very effectively, crossing the gain line, taking a brilliant try from his own 22. Then you got Gilroy just moving up and down the line, looking for weaknesses. He's been very effective for Ulster.
So Paddy Jackson to make it 21-14. 3 tries to 2 and 3 conversions to 2. A little bit of it off to end. He can have a wry smile, and he leaves the field with Dan Biggar. Both have played their part. In fact, both sides right across the board have played their part in a very entertaining first period. And it's the side going for the top 4 who hold the advantage at half-time by 21 points to 14. Ulster came here looking to secure this semi-final berth, and they are 40 minutes away from that now. Alex, with all the half-time chat coming up next.
Right, let's bring you an update from the 2 other games that we're keeping a very, very close eye on. To the sports ground, a battle for a home tie, and who else but Bundy Aki, who's done so well to get back from injury, has got the try for the home side there. Great seeds for Connacht as they chase their first ever home playoff fixture. And at Thomond Park, well, we haven't seen a lot of this from Munster this season, but what a try this proved to be, and ultimately it sees the home side in front. It's Francis Saili who has finished it off after great work from Keith Earls, but the Scarlets not out of it yet. Steve Shingler has kicked 4 goals, so a lot of life left in that one, and a lot of life left in the final round of the Guinness Pro 12 this season. The key moment here at the Liberty, both sides trading blows, but then right on the stroke of half-time, Andrew Trimble, they say fortune favours the brave. Great effort to follow up his kick ahead, and the pace to finish as well. So it's Ulster at the moment who lead by 21 points to 14, and in doing so they hold the keys to 4th Still, in terms of the half-time scores, Connacht up by 7, as we've just seen. Edinburgh leading by 17 points to 7 against the Cardiff Blues. Hamish Watson and Matt Scott with the tries for the home side. Reynold Lilo's gone over for the visitors. Leinster cruising against Treviso. Sexton with the first, 2 for Rickard Strauss. Munster up by 2. Ulster leading by 7 points here at the Liberty. And Zebra are storming into the Champions Cup next season. They lead by 23 points to 3 against the Dragons. Andrea Lavotti and Carl van Sale with the 2 tries there. So Zebra, as you can see, up by 3 now on Treviso. Connacht at the moment top. Leinster in second and also holding the home tie in the playoffs. Glasgow have dropped down to third and Ulster at the moment in fourth. A lot of play still to unfold, but Scarlets chasing hard. Munster hold the keys to that final Champions Cup spot. It's been absolutely breathless. It's been fantastic viewing, and it just goes to show you incentivise the teams to go out and play, and we're getting the results as well. Here, first things first, what a first 40 we've had. Entertainment abounds.
Yeah, cracking first half. I'm not sure either coach would be particularly delighted, but both teams come out with a real intent to play. There's been some great turnovers and ambition off the back of those turnovers, and a couple of opportunities taken, and Ulster probably just about deserved their first half lead.
And you put the question to Griff Rhys at the 20-minute mark, are the Ospreys playing too much? They're certainly not going to die wondering, I think was your exact quote. What have you made of the way they've set themselves up here this afternoon?
Well, they know to come out and they have to win the game, and they try to play with high tempo. They try and play obviously not kicking the penalties. They got to score the tries. They went the 4 tries. They went the bonus point, but you got to remember, you got to win the game first. You know, that's very important. I thought they started particularly well. You know, the first 15 minutes when they had a lot of the ball. You know, Matavesi scored this. You know, he's been getting over the gain line. They've been trying to play the high tempo game. You know, you see Dan Lydia get outside, just runs over the top, keeps the ball going, and it was good rugby. I think where they will be disappointed is the defensive efforts later on in that half when Ulster upped the tempo. But you can't say that you know, they both come out on both sides, put in a little bit more emphasis, let's say, on their attack than they did in that defence in that first half.
Dan Biggar under the bar. As for Ulster, we've still seen the discipline problems that they've had in the first half, but what about the way that they're playing, trying to move the ball around, the results that have come for them?
Yeah, they've tried to get into the wide channels early off set piece, and I think in general they've been relatively successful. Miles picked up on it in the commentary, both wingers working really hard. That's a fantastic line there by Marshall coming through the midfield, flat ball, and both tries, well, the first 2 tries, both came off scrum set piece. Direct initially, making that gain line, and from there Ospreys struggled to be able to plug the holes.
It's getting over the gain line, but look how quick they've been able to get the ball away from contact. They've been able to pull that Ospreys defence across the field. But it's the gain line. Watch this, bang, over the gain line, no problem, leg drive. Look how quick this is. You know, there it is, get away, and it's just easy, get over again. And that way, you know, with Bestia, you know, it's good leg drive. It's simple rugby. They'd be bitterly disappointed, the Ospreys, with a defence in that first half.
James King on that one, slightly overchased, ended up slipping. Rhys Webb actually had overchased to get outside the ball. Nice feet from Rory Best, but that's poor defence.
Ulster obviously just keeping control. What will be the messages in half-time?
I think discipline's got to be a big factor. This game's right on a knife edge, and they need to keep 15 men on the pitch. I don't think I've ever seen a team go through 40 minutes without conceding 1 penalty.
Yeah.
And Ospreys, I think it was 10-1 at half-time there. So I think the message is they've got to sort their discipline, but they look really dangerous with the ball.
Yeah.
Discipline, exactly right, but as well contact area. They need to slow the Ulster side down, and as well when they go into contact, like Henderson, I thought Henry were brilliant at the contact. They were turning ball over. They'd be disappointed that going forward as well they haven't had the discipline that they normally have here at the Liberty.
Yeah. At the moment, the Ospreys not being helped by the Scarlets either, but it is still very tight at the moment. If the Scarlets can turn that one around, it reopens the door once again for the Ospreys to steal into Europe. They have got to keep believing, and they've got to keep playing like this as well. Josh Matavesi hauling them back into it. We have got a fascinating second half when we return. How things stand in the table right now. This is as it stands. So if we were to finish like this, Connacht, Leinster would be at home, Glasgow and Ulster would be away from home in the playoffs. Scarlets, though, can change that if they can turn things around at Thomond. Munster in the European Cup spot. Edinburgh and the Ospreys not out of it yet mathematically, however, and it's Zebra at the moment going through as the Italian challenger in next year's European Cup. So 40 minutes left in the regular season. A lot still to resolve. A reminder, we'll keep you up to speed with events in Galway and Limerick, where they are a little bit behind us, but you can see Ulster heading back out onto the field. They are 40 minutes away from a place in the playoffs. Can the Ospreys turn things around? We shall find out once again in the company of Jan, Stuart and Marcus.
Just wonder what that score for Scarlets before half-time in Munster will have just done to the Ulster half-time tea talk. Rory Best and Les Kiss finding the words to say, look, you know, this is not done yet. Maybe it wasn't needed, but just giving the Ulster side that further push to make sure that they seal the deal here for a fourth semi-final in the row. Keeps them on the toes, no doubt about that. And just looking at that table again, and I think there's a point you were making before half-time, Stuart, you know, Leinster are, the way things are going against Treviso, favourites, you would have thought at the moment, to finish top of the pile in that number one seeding.
They're in the box seat. As for Les Kiss and Ulster, they had to come into this game thinking it was a cup final and they had to win. They had to win the game and then say, if we can get 4 tries brilliantly. They've done better than that. They've got the 3 tries. If they could get another one early, it's not a matter of stopping and easing off, it's keeping going. Because the other thing about the Scarlets, they're very close to Munster, but they don't have a solitary try at the moment. So if Ulster can win this game just with 4 points, that's enough to take it away from the Scarlets, because I can't see your old team behind scoring 4 tries in the second half at Thomond Park.
It's quite interesting you talk there about psychology of playing cup rugby in the final weeks of a tournament, where you have to win every game. It focuses the mind, and providing you've got the energy still in the legs, got a great chance.
You see what's in the legs of Gilroy here as he takes the restart and then goes flying upfield. Saw what Trimble had to offer once again just before half-time. Nice delay by Payne to find Reedy. And there's an offside here against Sam Underhill. First penalty the Ospreys have conceded in the match. Jackson, bit of a shot to nothing, no advantage. So back for the penalty.
On the 10. Thank you.
There's so much threat
Number
in
7.
the back threes of both sides, really, and in terms of their ability to bring the ball back quickly. It really stresses the defensive chase when you bring back the ball with such conviction, with such purpose and with such speed. It really stresses out defenders. That time Gilroy was able to attack our hip, a tight head prop. It really creates those gaps in the defensive alignment.
Ulster going for the post, so very different attitude.
Well, quite right, because I think they probably know the score, and you know, even the Scarlets win, they're thinking they're not going to get 4 tries. Let's get clear, let's win this game. We've got 3 tries, we can then focus later on the 4th one. They've laid the foundations, so this is a smart call. Penalty by Underhill was the first conceded by the Ospreys. In fact, it should have gone against Rhys Webb before, because he went very high on Craig Gilroy there.
Talk about the relative experience on both sides. You know, the average years of Ulster 28, opposed to the Ospreys 24. That experience brings composure, brings awareness.
Can Paddy Jackson bring 3 points? Yes, he can. 10-point lead. Pretty useful. Pleased with that start to the second half, the director of rugby.
Well, when you think it was a really good restart from Dan Bigger as well, and Gilroy was able to turn it round 30 metres. Another super kick.
Yeah, into Osprey's hands as well. Baldwin. Webb, Bigger, Matavesi, Evans. Nice swerving step. Webb. Hip. Walker's got it, but he's also got to take the tackle. Henry's there, Henderson's there, they're holding him up. Roll of the back row, really trying to help out as well. And it's another Ulster turnover in their own 22. Marshall gets the ball away and gets good distance.
Yeah. Ulster, he was in Marshall more as a kicking option from centre. You see really good work here, winning the restart, terrific restart, as you mentioned, Stu. Keeping his eye on the ball, under pressure, well played. Tell you who has impressed me in the game, It's really too upright there from Walker. Our hip has carried the ball really effectively, the Ospreys.
And again, Henry and Henderson, brilliant at the choke. Brilliant technique.
Here's Bigger. Webb.
Tuck it on.
Lydiot.
Still. Good still.
Another steal. And Pienaar hits this right in behind. Well, it's got a bounce, and in the end, Walker and Watkin don't have to worry about playing. It's a big hoof again from the boot of Rowan Pienaar, but there's a lot of space there.
The Bigger gets flat, but it's all been undermined by the fact that Ulster's breakdown is brilliant. If the Ospreys have an advantage with a number of penalties being conceded by the visitors, Ulster are nullifying that by the ability to turn over. McCloskey's a big, strong man, and again, Henderson is right in there. Henderson has stepped up today on last week.
Paddy Jackson stepped up there and ripped the ball away.
Use it.
Webb. This will be Trimble's. Support from Payne if he needs it. Well, Bigger was up there very quickly. It's a great chase. If you put in a chase for Bigger when he kicks, and that because he's normally first to arrive. But that time it was Bigger helping out Webb and making the kick look really good. But once more, it's problems for the Ospreys when it starts to break down. It's Underhill.
Second penalty against Underhill this half as Dan Lydiot soaks up a little bit of blood. Game has changed now. I think Ospreys are the team who need to play it high tempo, keep the pace up. With a 10-point lead now, I think Pienaar and Jackson are very happy to say let's take some possession and we'll just control this game. That kick from Pienaar off the back of the turnover from his forwards. It was just classic play from the South African scrum half.
It's about experience, it's about composure. Lifted his head up, knew exactly where the space was, and executed it perfectly. And that's a double hit then when you think you not only lost the turnover, but you've also lost 40 yards.
Ospreys steal it. Walker. Trimble gives it to Jarrod Payne, and suddenly it opens up, and Payne with a lovely swerving run takes Ulster up to the Ospreys 22. It's Pienaar and Jackson going wide, and John watched it well and finds Watkin, and then the flag is up.
A couple of times he's blocked up that final pass. So he's got to be careful with loose kicks. That time half charge down on the Eli Walker kick, and then you saw Payne picking a perfect angle. The counter-attack.
You can't allow Trimble and company to have this space. Trimble's been brilliant with the ball, and just immediate the decision to just fire it to Payne. And the New Zealand Islander picks a brilliant line. He's so comfortable at 15. I know he does a great job at 13 organising the defensive line for Joe Smith's Island, but as an individual he flourishes more at 15 than any other position.
Osprey is in there again on Ulster ball. That's 2 in a row. Bigger. There's young Watkin again. See, there's plenty of him. Well, Ricky Smith nicely back to Bigger. He's had to be good there. Bernardo. Lovely through the legs pass last week. They've got the skills, the Ospreys.
Ball always available.
Underhill is ripped again. And Marshall slipping. Pienaar. Brown. Now it's the Ospreys turning it over. Back with Evans. Oh, it's a good pickup from the big man Thornton.
He's had a good couple of minutes. Line out steals, pick up off his toes.
It's a long way to get down to those toes as well. Matavesi, and a bit of injection of pace. John has it from Bigger. It's Bigger again, never far from the action. Marshall hacks on. Grabbed unlucky on the far side. That should have been a penalty. Referee doesn't agree.
Very rarely has that ball coming back on the plate though for the scrum half to move that ball away. It really is. Ulster putting significant pressure at every breakdown.
Yeah.
Leinster 24-0 up, and Jack McGrath has scored a try. They have the bonus point.
And number 6.
So they will finish the season on 73 points. We know that, and that will be their 16th win. And that's why they were looking favourites for top spot. Connacht got a long way to go, not just to win the game, but to get to that 4th try. So the semi-finals at the moment will be Leinster-Ulster, Connacht-Glasgow rematch.
Well, we know Leinster have the capacity to score tries against the lesser teams. They've done that all season. But when they played against the bigger guns, either in Europe or Ulster last week, they haven't shown the form yet. So they're top of the pile, but there's still a lot of work to be done for them.
Is Marshall, out it goes to Trimble, and Walker makes the tackle, but Trimble just got a metre on the outside, and the pass inside was an easy one, even though he was being tackled. There's Lutton, who's put to the floor. Here comes Marshall. Also looking to stretch away and to get that 4th try for the bonus point. And the bonus point would secure that semi-final if they go on to win the match, but they'll be in a great position to do that. And again forced to go wide right at the end, and again not quite getting it right. That time Gilroy a bit too much on the pass.
Bad pass at the end, but that was another good spinning run from Henderson. Henderson's got this great nick of just turning through the tackle.
There's another nick there in the line.
Henderson, yeah, I think he's had a really good game today. He set up the space there, but that's a speculative pass would be a nice way to describe it. A generous one.
It's probably his first error of the game, Craig Gilroy, but I agree with you. He's an all-action performer, Henderson.
Webb. Bigger. Got to touch. And it ain't there, Craig Gilroy, because you were the one catching it.
Surprised didn't take quick throws. Ample time there.
Yeah.
Black 14.
Sam Davis about to come on, the player of the year here. Player's choice, fans' choice as well. It's Watkin who goes off.
Yeah. Ben John will probably go into the centre.
That's what's happening. Davis to full-back and Evans onto the wing.
A good take from Henderson there. He has flown into this game. He's really played well this half.
Really best on the floor. Again, it's Marshall, the kicking option. I think I heard a touch there, but it doesn't matter because it's taken infield anyway. By Sam Davis. Came to Pienaar. Marshall again. Time he doesn't kick, and Gilroy puts the foot down, but just not quite getting it all together at the moment.
Game has just gone scrappy for the last 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, it's got a little bit loose and ragged. It's been loose for some time. It's got ragged now. Either side able to capitalise on turnovers as well as they would have liked, which is at total odds with the first half, where both sides were capable of attacking and turnover ball really effectively. But I think the changes in the side also. You've seen Ospreys have brought on Cracknell, who's probably more of an effective ball carrier than Lydiate is. So they're trying to start winning those collisions, which they've lost for the bulk of this game. Ulster seem to be winning those collisions. A lot of them allows them then to force the turnovers and the choke tackle.
It's Cracknell for Lydiate, and we have Jarvis on for our hip. Aaron Jarvis saying goodbye to the Ospreys at the end of this. He's going to Clermont-Auvergne on a 2-year contract. Welsh international. Here's Matavesi. Ospreys know all about Clermont-Auvergne from the Champions Cup this season, and they acquit themselves very well against the French team. And they'd love to have the chance to play Champions Cup rugby next season, but it's looking a slim chance at the moment. But maybe, just maybe, there goes Cracknell. Webb, Baldwin, back to Webb. Bigger. Nicely done by Bernardo. There's not too much space, and Ulster have cover. Looking for the precision inside the opposition 22. It's eluded them today, even though they have scored 2 tries. Plenty more moments when you'd expect the Ospreys to be more threatening. Are they going to be here with Cracknell? Webb to Davis. Davis inside, finding Evans. Getting ever closer. Webb. It's a strong effort, this. Realising the importance of this next score. And once again, Ulster turn it over. It's gone absolutely out of hand as far as the Ospreys are concerned. Literally.
What wonderful stuff from Ulster there, but what a super substitution from Steve Tandy. Cracknell's become on. You said he's more of a carrier than Lydia, and immediately he's made a big impact, and I mean a big one. Straight through Reedy. Later on in the move, there's a delayed pass from Bigger. He's coming straight onto it again. He's giving the Ospreys the gain line that they hadn't had for a while.
Yeah, front foot ball makes such a difference, gives options then for the 9 and 10. Makes life difficult for defenders.
Going for a drive. Webb. Bigger. Walker. He's got away just from Marshall, but in doing so, couldn't quite keep his balance after that. Good steal from Pete Brown. Had a strong finish to the season. And there's Marshall and Gilroy. That time the pass is timed perfectly. And McCluskey, and they've got the extra man here. On it goes to Jared Payne, inside to McCluskey. And Sam Davis there with a tackle. Gilroy, can he make it? Ulster so close to this bonus point score. Can the Ospreys get a turnover?
Let him come wide.
Oh, Ulster butchered a try there.
Wait.
And Ospreys do have the turnover, but a hand comes through. And Chris Henry, with that hand, is it with the score?
The ruck was formed, and then the ball, I think, was passed over the line, so past the in-goal line. So I think everybody's entitled to have a go for the ball.
In-goal's not offside.
So try yes or no, please.
Yeah, we'll have a look for you now, Marius.
Derek Bevan, his final game as a television match official.
Yeah, and yeah, we need to check as well if he was onside the player.
We'll have a look at this.
We got lots of angles, Marius.
That looks like a try.
On the line is good enough from an Ulster perspective. Webb just puts the ball back. Or does he knock it on? Does he knock it on? That's the key.
No, please.
That is an interesting angle.
Please.
Well, at least we've got an experienced TMO to make this call.
He wants his moment in this back in the sun, Derek Bevan.
One.
Zoom right in.
But the ball was on the line.
Yeah, so he touches it.
It was on the line, so I might want.
Derek?
Marius?
Yes?
You may award the try.
Yep.
So I may award the try?
You may award the try.
Okay, thank you. I'll explain this. Even if it's a ruck, when the ball crosses the line, it's no offside line, so everybody can go and touch the ball down. So in this case, the white player was onside, and then he touched the ball, so I may award the try.
And Rhys Webb takes the medicine.
Yeah, Amaris Maitreya explaining exactly to Rhys Webb what had happened there and why the try was allowed.
And Chris Henry has just got the bonus point score. And I should say, if you heard any bad language there on the referee's microphone, apologies for that.
It sums up this game. I mean, Ulster's supremacy at the breakdown has been seminal.
You saw that ball just sat on the line.
Yeah, so he just touches it. The crowd don't like it, but that will do. But you know, just when you thought the Ospreys had turned it over, their inexperience, inability cost them, and we go all the way back to Pete Brown's try, as the crowd are very upset with that decision.
I'll have a walk.
Dan Bigger stepped in. I think he's unhappy as well. Just voicing that to the referee.
Derek, I can't hear you.
Hold it, Marius. We got another view here.
Okay, so is there anything else you want to check?
This is not done.
This is not acceptable either, I'm afraid. Once the TMO has made that call, you're in a state of anarchy if the players then say,
Derek,
hang on, we want to look at
angle.
it again. Right or wrong, I'm afraid. Once Derek Bevan makes that call and the try is awarded on Bevan's say-so to the referee, you have to give it. Right or
We
wrong,
have
I'm
time to
afraid.
check.
He touched
No,
the ball and it's on the line.
The TMO came and he wanted to check. Go back, please.
Rory Best is
Derek?
furious now.
You may award the try.
So you confirm I may award the try?
Yes, you may award the try.
Okay, try is good.
And we're back to square one.
Try. Thank you.
It wasn't a great moment for Matreus there, I'm afraid. He just says to Dan Bigger, it's been awarded, get back. That's the end of it.
And Jackson's conversion. And the lead gets bigger here for Ulster. Looks like a winning lead now. Glasgow have been kept quiet all afternoon until this moment.
Number 6.
It's all level in Galway because Glasgow have got a try. It's scored by Gordon Reid. 7 apiece. So how does that affect the top of the table? If that's a draw, then it's Glasgow into home semi-final territory. Leinster beating Treviso comfortably. Ulster winning comfortably here. So it'll be Leinster-Ulster still, but Glasgow at home to Connacht.
Yeah. Ulster done and dusted as long as they hang on and win. And with a 17-point lead, they are in a magnificent position. A magnificent position. What a drive by the Ulster pack. This is a drive of a team who thinks we're in the semi-finals and we have this match in our grip.
When all that was happening, a whole host of changes have been made by Ulster. Darren Cave I can see on out there, Stuart Olding's out there, Robbie Dyack, Kyle McCaw, Uncle Tom Cobley, he's wearing 16.
But what hasn't changed was the experience of Rory Best and Ruan Pina at hooker and at scrum half. You want all that experience.
And they've been behind a pack that has dominated turnovers. We talked about the importance of them. Absolutely crucial one. Pete Brown doing sterling work here. Ospreys on the attack. Turnovers so important because when you can nick a ball like this, the Ospreys don't have any defensive situation at all. And when that ball goes wide, well, as you said, Jan, it was initially butchered, but they never left the 22 until they scored.
Roger Wilson also out there. Of course, Rob Herring is wearing 16 for us, Uncle Tom, and Rory Best is still out there, and Paddy Jackson is still scoring points. Lots of them. They're nearly away and gone now.
His boot has become brutal in these last few weeks of the season. You just get the feeling when you watch him, Jan, he's not going to miss.
No, gone are the days of a callow youth that suffered so badly in the Heineken Cup. All of a sudden he's maturing into an authoritative figure at 10.
Here he is. Bigger goes back. Darren Cave is first to arrive. Bigger kicks long. The crowd a little bit restless, to say the least, where the last few minutes have gone. Minutes that have probably put the Ospreys out of this match and ended any lingering hope that they had of making the Champions Cup next season. Dropped by Kyle McCaw. Another scrum and 1 or 2 ironic cheers as the referee holds out an arm the Ospreys' way. There's Thornton trying to get to ground and does. Webb. Bigger. Underhill. It's not really been his day, the young man. There'll be plenty more good days to come from him. We know that. Referee will blow the whistle now. This won't improve the crowd's mood, but it was a knock-on.
I've got to say, that's not great from Rhys Webb there. That was pure petulance there. He knew that the initial knock-on had come from his team there.
Yeah, composure at times and ball retention has hurt the Ospreys today. They've found themselves in really good attacking positions. They got turned over. Some terrific work from Ulster, but also they're architects of their own downfall.
Yeah, I think if Eddie Jones is watching this game, he's obviously had an English match at the moment, but he will be recording this. He'll have seen a pretty callow second half performance from Sam Underhill. That is not to say he's not a player of huge potential, but against an Ulster back row and pack that have had so much nous and experience, he's been exposed. He's found it difficult today.
So you're saying it's looking more Saxons than Australia?
Well, I mean, Eddie Jones could take him to Australia and just say put him in a 3-week international environment. But if you say you want to start playing games, next step up is to go away for a young man from his normal environment, then the Saxons seems the more sensible idea. But I wouldn't discount Australia, because Jones will think we need to chisel this youngster quickly.
Yeah, I like what he brings. He brings that rawness, but that rawness is also a strength of his. But I understand where you're coming from, but I take him, to be honest.
Well, a little break in play here, so Ulster sitting pretty. Let's hear from one of their coaches, Alan Clark. He's with Rory.
Alan, 20 points up, 20 minutes to go, bonus point in the bag. You couldn't have dreamt of this, could you?
We're obviously in a wonderful position. I think it's a fantastic game, great spectacle for the Pro 12, and you can see both teams have been going for it. There've been fine margins in the games at times, and you know, we've weathered the storm from the Ospreys. When we've got into the right zones of the field, we've really capitalised and turned that position into points. But they're a dangerous side. We know they're going to go for everything. Last week they were well behind and came back against Cardiff strongly at the end and went out winners. So we've still got a job to do here.
The stats at half-time, penalty-wise, 10 penalties to 0 against you. The breakdown has been such a huge area, and it's been relentless from your boys. Just how much of a focus did you have coming into the game on that area?
We recognise that Ospreys like to play on the front foot, and you know, no better place to stop them either the tackle area. So, yeah, we probably came out the wrong side of a few things. We've tidied up in the second half, and the penalty count's much more equal.
And finally, Chris Henry's bonus point try there, just a number of moments ago. Is that just his experience, or do you look at those nuances of the game?
I think you've got to credit Chris there for his knowledge of the game. You know, he's a wily campaigner. He's really coming back into form, and the combination in our back row has been excellent for us today.
Good man, thanks Alan, enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
Thanks Rory. Ospreys are able to add thus far to their half-time score. Ulster certainly have. And there goes Robbie Dyack. We've got some news coming in from Connacht against Glasgow. Give you that in 1 second after this attack concludes. Here's Pinar to Olding and then McCall. Here's Trimble. Started to make the difference. His score just before half-time. Roger Wilson, who's far enough back to remember the time at the club when Ulster were champions of this competition. Here's Franco van der Merwe. Pinar, Henry, Dyack. Pinar again to McCall. It's a patient build-up they can afford to be. Jackson to Payne. Now the wide ball might work. It's with Darren Cave inside to Stuart Olding, and then he's sandwiched. But it's Roger Wilson. He offloads well to Pinar, to Lutton. Prop standing in midfield. All he could do there was reset.
Use it.
Rory Best. It's turnover ball for the Ospreys. The real feature of this game, both sides at it. Ulster more than the Ospreys defensively, turning that ball over. Ospreys have done it on more than one occasion. And the opposition have been on the attack, just lost their way and the ball. Sam Davis. Now that's interesting because there's a whole load of space now. Grabham's come onto the field. It's up over halfway. Gilroy feels exposed on this side. He's going to be tested here. Baldwin. Henry came to his winger's assistance there. Lost by Garrett Thomas. And I should just tell you that news from Galway. Glasgow are down to 40 men, leading with the head there. Sila Puafisi, the prop forward, sent off for this. So it's 7-all, and Glasgow will finish the game
Number 2
with 14.
That was ridiculous. What on earth do you think he was doing there?
Okay, so 2 is staying. So is number 2?
Reckless and daft combined deserves that. Puts Glasgow under pressure, gives Connacht a dream opportunity here in the rain of playing Glasgow at home, and I don't think they're going to want to go to Scotland for 7, but at home, as you can see today, they're a threat to anyone. Big moment.
You know, you watch today's game and how it's unfolded, and in a fast and furious game, frantic at times. As a player at scrum half for Ulster who's oozed calmness from every pore. He's been relaxed, he's been chilled, he's controlled things. He's passed when he needed a pass, he's checked, he's waited for the right moment, he's put the kicks when he needs to really out. Now, he's obviously had a comfortable ride from the breakdown, really good quality ball from it, but you want that authority from experienced campaigner like Pienaar.
Now coming up tomorrow, live on Sky Sports, what do we have for you?
Time on.
It's Bristol against Bedford at the second leg of the Championship semi-final. Tall order for Bedford, but they will give it a go in their entertaining way, I'm sure. And the Challenge Cup final is next Friday night. All the build-up begins at 7:30 from Lyon, Harlequins Montpellier. And of course, the big one the next day, the Champions Cup final itself. Racing 92 against Saracens. Sky Sports 2, the place to be next Saturday from 3:45.
Saracens very much the victim. Saracens very much the men who put Ulster away in this tournament. Played brilliantly. It was the game in Belfast when you thought this Saracens team are good, because Ulster are not a bad unit, and they're showing just how decent they are today.
Say that Scott Otten has come on for the Ospreys. He's a hooker, but he's come on for Sam Underhill. He's gone into the back row, so resources being stretched. A few of these players can head to the beach after this for a well-earned rest. Not so Ulster. Semi-final looms. Jackson men just got in front, I think, in midfield. Yeah, just been called by the assistants on this near side. Here's Grim Morris. Ospreys trying to give their supporters something to cheer about at the end. Across that Ulster line again. It's been a tough second half for them. Webb. Well, he's found bigger. Not the conventional way, and Sam Davis. Beautiful eye for the opening. Here comes that try. Grabham. Oh, great tackle. Jackson got across, but a Grabham done enough. Thinks he has.
He is a talent.
Check it. Yes. Second question.
Young Sam Davis.
Crowd don't like the fact he's going to be checked, but I think it has to be.
No, I'm pretty happy with that. Yes. Derek, any reason why not toward the try, please?
We'll have a look now.
But the question, a different one to the straight yes or no. So the odds in favour here of the replacement Ospreys wing, Tom Grabham.
That's a try. Great piece of defensive work from Paddy Jackson, but this time it's in vain.
Well, Griffith's defensive work, but really good play by Grabham to finish that off on his back. I love the awareness, the sense of geography to know he'd cross the line. A really good enterprising play by Ospreys to keep the ball alive initially.
Maria,
and then Sam Davis came to the fore.
Thank you.
And you have to look at Sam Davies again in this blossoming talent. 2 minutes ago, he showed a delightful inside ball to put that self-same man, Tom Grabham, through the gap on his own 22. This time, on his own, he scythes through the defence, and there's going to be no opportunity for Ulster to stop him. Little show, a big change of pace there. He breaks speed to compose himself for the pass. He's in. Great.
Shows the modern game as well. Second receiver sometimes has more space. Ball in two hands puts doubt in defenders' minds.
Yep.
You never know, this might just put one or two doubts in Ulster minds if the conversion goes over. It's a very important kick and it is missed, so they've still got some breathing space, Ulster, and quite a lot of it. It's a fine finish in the end by Graham, beautifully set up by young Sam Davies.
2 minutes before, the complete difference of style. Davies knew there was no gap, but he just waited on his own 22. He drew the man with a dummy kick, popped the ball inside to grab him, and he was away. He just makes space for other players, and he is some talent.
Yeah, you think back to that European game at Clermont, where they came back and played some stunning rugby.
That's why I was thinking that Ulster might be a little bit worried had that conversion gone over, but time very much against the Ospreys here to get the 3 scores. But you never know.
If you look back at one area of the Ospreys and they look back at this game, the loss of ball in contact several times, where there's Endale, that time is Beerman, it's hurt them badly.
So still 7 each in Galway between Connacht and Glasgow, and we'll see what that means, that draw on the table, in just a second. Cardiff Blues have come back to lead against Edinburgh 21-17. That 4-game winning run ended this week on Judgment Day, but they might finish with a win. Leinster powering on against Treviso, which is bad news for Treviso in terms of their Champions Cup qualification. Still tight between Munster and the Scarlets, but the Scarlets needing those 4 tries. And Zebre against Dragons. Dragons semi-finalists in the Challenge Cup. A terrific run in that competition, but this may be one game too far for them in the Pro 12. That table will come shortly. We've got some live action to concentrate on with Olding. And that is another score for Ulster. Stuart Olding making it look easy. Ulster are heading into the semi-final. It's going to be away from home, but they want to perform away today to show what they can do on their travels, and they have certainly done that.
That was slightly soft defending there from the Ospreys. It's a nice angle from Oldham. He came off the bench last week against Leinster and made a difference. He's a clever, low-slung player. Pienaar just pulls his man forward, step off the right, but that's going to be a great deal of disappointment there. Poor tackle there from Otten. Straight through there. That's a mismatch, but that's one that a hooker takes.
Yeah, that's bad body position there.
Seen some good tries, but that one does come under the category of soft.
Certainly does, but Olding won't be complaining. Otten, of course, is out of position, but even whether he's open side or hooker, that's a one-on-one moment that he won't be particularly proud of.
That's when an error really hurts you. Turned over, you lose the ball in contact, scrum, the opposition score from the restart.
Has gone forward, as promised. Let's have a look at that table.
Forward and then backwards. First was knock on.
Leinster, #1 seeds. Home to Ulster in the semi-final. And Glasgow, at the moment, if it stays as a draw, will have done enough in Galway today to take Connacht to Glasgow, home of the champions in the semi-final. Scarlets and Munster will both be playing Champions Cup rugby next season, and so too Zebre down there at the bottom as the Italian representative. A strong finish from them. Haven't won since January when they won against Treviso. And today they found it at just the right time.
Leinster-Ulster is going to be fascinating going to Dublin this time, because Ulster are finishing this campaign like a train. They thrashed Leinster last week. They're hammering the Ospreys in Swansea. They are a team in form.
Timing is everything.
And whatever way you look at those semi-finals, they are both enticing prospects. There's Grabham. Brendan Leonard now on for the Ospreys at scrum half, the New Zealand international. We are hearing of tries elsewhere, so we will update you with those and the significant ones. That's a nice carry from Thomas, Gareth Thomas, the prop forward, just signed a new 3-year deal, so he's got plenty of good times to look forward to here at the Ospreys. And as Jan was saying, it is a very young side. Maybe Champions Cup rugby next season, which would be a major disappointment, but in this competition they are a tough nut to crack, and especially here, which is why Ulster's total 41 points makes you sit up today, even though Ospreys have at times played fast and loose. There's Leonard again to Davis, to Bigger, along the line from Otten to Matavesi, to Grabham, and a good tackle from Craig Gilroy. So, those scores. Let's go to Limerick first. It's Munster getting another score against the Scarlets. Scarlets in possession there. But it falls for Munster, and it falls for Ronan O'Mahony, who speeds in. Munster 19-12 against the Scarlets, securing that Champions Cup place. And the other score has come in Galway. It's for Connacht, and they could be getting that home semi-final place back. It's Tiernan O'Halloran on the end of this. What a roar there will be. Sold out today, and it will be sold out again for a semi-final if that is the venue. Still time to go.
What a cross kick in those conditions. That was brilliant there. Halloran gets the glory, but wow, that was sensational kick.
The table, Leinster against Ulster, Connacht at home to Glasgow if they win.
Yeah. I would say in that crossfield kick, you'd rather be kicking it than trying to receive it in those sort of conditions. It's a shout of, general shout of yours.
Rowan Pienaar takes his leave and Paul Marshall comes on. And it's something again last week when he came on. Terrific man to have on the bench. Pienaar, a terrific man to start the game, and again he's been a major part of Ulster's success here today. Leonard to Cracknell, trying to find Leonard again. Gerard Payne's got it. All the support was to his left. He's kicked that ball away to Dan Evans. I understand why he didn't see that support. There's a forest of Ospreys players around him.
There's the ball. Use it!
Carried by James King. Leonard. Bigger. Davis off the floor. Ospreys attacking again. Just shows if they had been closer, what a threat they could have been at this stage of the match. Just missed too many moments in this match. There's Evans. And King again. Leonard. Agonisingly close for the Ospreys. Baldwin tries to help out. Walker's gone in there. Evans short. And Thomas has stopped in his tracks.
This is the part of the field where the Ospreys couldn't score when they needed to earlier.
But they might here, because that is going to fall for Grabham again, who gets another in that corner. They'll run back quickly, but just another glimpse at that clock. It is stacked against them now. Ulster defending as if they weren't a long way in front. To be fair, that was a hard-earned score from the Ospreys, and a second of the match for Tom Grabham.
Yeah, for once a lost ball in contact didn't cost the Ospreys. Eventually scored on the back of it. But just a loose.
It's a wrong deflection, isn't it, off Jackson? Ball hacked through, off the left ankle, stops dead. Perfectly done from Jackson to Grabham.
And Bigger's kick Looks like it's gone through. It has.
Something to work on for Ulster out of the semi-finals. They've been averaging a concession of 13 points a game in the Premiership, in the Pro 12. Only Leinster have conceded less. Double that tally today, so 26 points. They'll be looking to cut that down.
Well, there's no doubt the Ospreys have had ample opportunity to score more tries than they've actually had. They just haven't been able to be accurate enough at key moments in key areas of the field. So that will be the part that Joe Barracuda will want to walk on before the playoffs. When you look at the respective positions of both these sides, man, Ulster will go there brimming full of confidence because of the manner of the game.
Tavesi to Bigger. Well done by James King. Well, even more so because Ulster are offside. Ospreys keep going. It didn't go forward, says referee Maitreya, but it is in Ulster hands, and it's Marshall to Dyack to Van der Merwe. Now Reedy. Little chip from the number 8. Trimble's trying to get on the end of it. Comes back to Reedy. Inside ball to Van der Merwe. And the big second row needs one more shunt to go on. I think he might have got that down. Assistants on his knees having a look. Would have had a pretty good view. Even from here in the commentary box, that looked like it was down momentarily, but we are a long way from the action.
Yes, Marius.
Any reason why we cannot award the try?
Okay, we'll have a look now.
Feels like the
Any
right
reason why
question.
you can't award the try?
Yes, thank you. The grounding was good.
Like the big man powered over from where the three of us are, didn't it? Good body position. Gets several men behind him, driving away. Great play from Reedy to give him the opportunity. I don't think Walker's held him up.
They're going to look for any reason why it can't be awarded.
Knows the answer, isn't it? That's a try.
We need to find a reason why. I think that's down.
And that's the view we had live from our position, looking down that angle, and that's when it seemed he just momentarily
Marius,
got it down.
There is no reason why you can't award the try.
So I may award the try.
You may.
Thank you.
And it was a good try as well, finished off by Franco van der Merwe, created by a whole host of teammates before it got to Sean Reedy, but that was excellent work from the number 8. Okay. And the lock just needed a little bit of help from behind, and he got it.
You look back at the Ospreys obviously will be disappointed at the manner of they will no longer be playing in the Cup and in the senior comp in Europe, and so long they've been the standard bearers, and I still think with a full deck of cards they're still probably Wales' strongest regions. They'll be disappointed, but they look back at the number of youngsters have been blooded throughout this competition and in Europe, and the average age of the squad. There's a lot to look forward to, a lot to be positive about for this Osprey side moving forward.
100%, and when you get to your 8th kick, that's not a bad effort. Is he going to keep it going? No, he's not. We should never have shown that 7 out of 7, but we should, because he has done really well, Paddy Jackson. But who is your man of the match?
Well, almost immaculate Paddy Jackson. It's been a performance full of high-quality performers, but the key to this game was the breakdown, and Ian Henderson shone at that area. He shone in every other area. Ian Henderson very close to being back to his very best. He's our Pro 12 man of the match.
And it falls for Trimble, and that look forward to Marshall.
Trimble's another one who's had a strong showing today, as is Rory Best. Pienaar and Jackson have been impressive. A lot of really strong performances, and go back to the timing. Ulster are really gaining some significant momentum as they head towards the playoffs.
Big names glistening everywhere. Jared Payne at fullback, Gilroy as a threat on the left wing. Wherever you look in this team, Pete Brown just sort of the glue holding the whole thing together. They look a good team.
Just a moment of indulgence. I was talking to the producer about things happening elsewhere when you said man of the match. I'm sure the viewers heard, but I didn't. Who is man of the match?
You could do with listening. Ian Henderson, Miles. Ian Henderson.
You could do with picking the right one. Should have been Paddy Jackson last week. Anyway,
yeah.
Performance.
Obviously, you weren't forceful enough still.
Okay.
For once, they were speechless.
I can't believe your temerity.
Let's go.
No, you're coming back.
Come on.
There wasn't a shake of the head when Pienaar was our choice last week. And then when Jackson did go 75 metres for the score.
Jackson was really good last week, though.
He was very good. And to be fair, Tyrone and myself had the honesty to say maybe we went a little bit early, and we did. Are you saying we went early on this one?
When you finished. Well, Leonard had gone. He still had time to retrieve it. Bigger back to Leonard. And Davis. Oh, that's a nice ball inside to Leonard and Matavesi. Throwing around Barbarian style. Barbarians heading Belfast way later in the year when they'll play Fiji, which will be a great day at the Kingspan Stadium. There will not be a semi-final at the Kingspan Stadium in this competition this season, but their team, Ulster, will be part of the last four again, 4 years in a row.
I know, Steve, you don't like the use of the word entertainment in rugby, but we have been entertained today.
I like the use of the word instinct and intelligence, and there's been some intelligent, some instinctive rugby, and yes, yeah, there has been some entertaining rugby as well. It's been a real feast. It's disappointment for the Ospreys. I'll concur with what you say. I think they'll be strong next year, but going forward to the semi-finals, this Ulster team are serious contenders at the moment. Their timing is perfect. All their big guns are firing just at the right time. They're going to be a tough nut for Leinster to crack, Dublin or not.
And Jan and I will stop stirring the nest in a moment.
Let's not.
Off it goes from Paul Marshall. It's the top four. And Ulster can breathe a huge sigh of relief. And they will go into the semi-final on the back of a thumping win. Not just this week, but last week as well against Leinster. They're in great shape, even though they will have to be away from home, and 2 weeks to get ready for a semi-final for the Ulstermen.
And I'm not sure anyone will fancy playing Ulster on this kind of form. We don't yet know who it will be that hosts Ulster in the playoffs. We do know that Les Kiss's men will be away from home, but there is still drama to be played out on this final afternoon of the regular season in the Guinness Pro 12. It does look like being a very, very good afternoon for the Irish sides, though, because Munster have just scored against the Scarlets to make it 24-15, and that means it is likely to be 22 consecutive seasons now for Munster in the Champions Cup. They are doing what they need to do. Leinster are cruising against Treviso, and there is still time to be played at the score.